guys, I'm Shauna. I'm a life coach and complementary therapist in Ireland. So, what I do is I help guide people through breaking through their limiting beliefs and changing their mindsets through the likes of hypnotherapy, coaching, and meditation. I do a few other things as well, but let's not get into it. On my YouTube channel, you'll find videos where I talk about hypnotherapy, meditation, or just give you some tools and tricks that you can use on your personal development journey. I wish you the best. Let's go and check out what video I have in store for you today. Hey guys, so for this video I'm going to be talking about building mental and emotional strength. And what I'm going to do is walk you through 7 steps, or 7 tips rather, to help you build mental and emotional strength. The first one is get rid of self-doubt. Have the confidence to know that when you have a bad day, you're not going to crumble to the ground, because you already have the strength that you need to deal whatever's coming your way. Realize that the universe or God or source energy or whoever or whatever you believe in is not going to send things your way that you're not going to be able to handle. So trust yourself with that. Another way that you can get rid of self-doubt is by teaching someone something. A tool that you may have learned to help you with your mentality or with your anxiety, or a business tool or something. Teach it to somebody else, because that shows you that you're on the right path. And it builds your confidence because you're sharing knowledge. Knowledge isn't knowledge unless it's shared. Another thing you can do is just bury the bad habits, get rid of them. You don't need them. I'm going to be releasing a habit tracker workbook in the coming weeks. I'll put it in the link down below when it's up and running. And the last one, stop comparing yourself to others. Don't look at the people that are successful in what you want to do and be like, oh my God, they're so amazing. Yeah, but when they started, they weren't. Don't compare your page 1 to somebody else's page 100, because you're both on separate journeys. You can admire them and you can aspire to be like them, but there's no comparison because you are your own person. The second tip that I'm going to give you is stay calm under pressure. It's the most important thing, because how you deal with pressure behind closed doors is how your organization is going to run. Do whatever it takes to stay calm instead of losing the plot, whether it be just saying I need a minute and going off and breathing, or whether it's just taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out and giving yourself a minute to process. When you contain yourself, you have more time and more options to figure out the wisest way forward. People always do silly things when they're in a fit of rage, or if they're in a fit of sadness. What you need to do is just breathe through that emotion, through that cloud, until you get clarity, and then you can see both sides. Like I was saying before, count to 10 and breathe. Nobody's going to look at you any differently if they give you bad news and you're like, okay, I'll be back in a minute to deal with that. And then you walk off and either go for a quick 5 minutes breathing, go for a cigarette if you smoke, that type of thing. Nobody's going to think twice about it. Write your thoughts down. That is so important. It really, really does help you clear your mind. I'm a huge advocate for journaling. Write them down. At least then you can see where your mind's at. The next tip I want to mention to you now is learn to let go of the little things. Okay? If you don't let go, they will build up and they'll make your mind weaker. And we don't want that. We want strong minds. Develop a thicker skin so that you can deal with whatever's being thrown your way. And yeah, you can still be upset and you can still be hurt by things, but it needs to be water off a duck's back. Don't worry about the negative comments that others are saying or the judgments that they're passing on you. The only reason they're saying those things is because what you're doing is resonating with them, and maybe they feel like they can never do it, so the only way they can feel good about themselves is by talking negatively about you and bringing you down. Just don't listen to them. Let them stay in that negative mindset. You don't need to listen to it. If someone is being rude to you, assume that they have a good reason. You never know what's happening in their life. And you just need to realize that they might be being rude to you, but it's not personal. Especially if it's somebody that doesn't know you and they're just being rude. How can it be personal? And if it's somebody you do know, just ask yourself, why are they lashing out? Do they normally lash out? Is there something going on that you need to get to the bottom of? You don't need to listen to it. You don't need to take it on board. Because as long as you're staying true to yourself, you'll be fine. The fourth one, or tip, that I want to talk to you about now is set goals and stay true to them. If you're going to tell people that you're going to climb Mount Everest and you're going to reach the peak, you better make sure you climb Mount Everest and reach the peak. Otherwise, your word means nothing. You can practice building mental strength by setting meaningful goals and working to accomplish them step by step. And we all have these big, hairy, audacious goals that we want to reach or that we want to hit by the end of our life or at a certain point in our life, but work back from that and break it down into smaller goals. If you want to be at place X in 12 months, where do you need to be in 9 months? Where do you need to be in 6 months? Where do you need to be in 3 months? Where do you need to be by the end of this month? Break it down so that it's small and it's accomplishable, but you're still aiming towards a big goal. SMART goals, guys. Go ahead and watch my video on that. Getting them step by step, it requires you to apply yourself. A quote that I heard before that's kind of always stunk. So I'm not even going to bother editing this out because it's going to be funny. One quote that stuck with me, there you go, over the last few years that I've heard is, if you want to live a life you've never had, you have to do things that you've never done. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to build a business, if you want to live a happier life, you need to figure out what the people that are living your lifestyle are doing and do them. Does that make sense? You gotta stick it out and to make it. Ever hear the saying, fake it till you make it? You gotta stay with it. Don't give up. You could always be just 3 feet from gold. If you haven't read that book, go read it. It's an amazing eye-opener. But you gotta stick with it. You never know how close you are. Have big goals and break them down, step by step. Have a stick with it attitude. You need to have stickability. You can't give up. Your goal and your aspirations and what you want in life needs to excite you so much that it completely bulldozes the fear out of the water. Don't let fear get in your way. And don't let failures keep it down. Because if you think about failure, or even the word fail, F-A-I-L, first attempt in learning. If you look at all of these successful entrepreneurs, all these successful business people, and go up to them and ask them what made them successful, you can be guaranteed that most of them would say, I learned from my failures. Because failing isn't failing, it's just learning. Think about that for a minute. The fifth point I want to talk to you about now is have perspective. If you come wrapped up in your own problems, find ways to get new perspectives. Speak to somebody about it. Everybody hits a dead end from time to time, and that's fine. It could just mean that what you're doing is good, but the way you're doing it needs better execution. If you have a difficult time getting out of your head, read books. Listen to a friend. Travel. Build yourself a network of not only people that you want in your life, but people who are on the same journey as you. Build yourself a village and gain new perspectives that way. You can just turn around to them and be like, hypothetically, I'm having this type of an issue. This is my thought process on it. What's your thoughts on it? And they might come up with something completely different and you'll be like, okay. You know, I do it with my partner all the time. The two of us are so open-minded that we can see loads of different perspectives. And it actually brings out really, really interesting and deep and meaningful conversations. It works. You gotta be able to gain perspective and not be stuck in your own ways. The sixth step is have a positive outlook. Mentally and emotionally strong people, they don't complain very much. You know, be positive about what's happening in your life and look forward to the possibilities of your future. And I don't mean being positive by going around skipping and saying the whole world is raining rainbows and sunshine, and no. Being positive and having a positive outlook is knowing that even in your darkest hour, there's light at the end of the tunnel. That's being positive. It means that regardless of how bad you feel, you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that this isn't the end. That's what being positive means. You gotta let yourself be happy in the moment. Enjoy the emotions. You know, be present. Look for positives in difficult situations, the silver lining. You know, like I said before, the world, source energy, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, they're not going to send things to you that you can't handle. And you're either going to learn something from it, or it's going to be an amazing experience. Either way, you gain something from it. And the seventh and final tip for this video is don't hide from the truth. Being able to face reality might be the biggest sign of somebody's emotional and mental strength. You know, to overcome an obstacle, you need to be able to take it head on. You can't be afraid of it. Well, you can be afraid of it, but still tackle it head on. Recognize your escape tendencies, bad habits in other words, and work to overcome them. Be honest with yourself about your flaws. Because if you don't love yourself, flaws and all, you're not going to get anywhere. And how can you expect other people to love you if you don't love yourself? And how can you expect other people to be okay with your flaws if you're not okay with your flaws? That's what I mean by self-love. You need to be able to be completely honest with yourself and love yourself for your imperfections and for your amazing, amazing talents. Because we all have different talents. And once you're able to completely love yourself, flaws and all, you'll be so surprised about what you're going to be able to accomplish. And that's all I have to say for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.